Yo, I actually never got a chance to really watch like all the Stephen A. Smith rants. I just didn't see it. So recently, because I kept hearing people saying, "Oh, Stephen A. Smith, just shut the fuck up," and it's just like I was like, "What? Well, what is he saying?" Man, I mean, I kind of figured he was saying it was a robbery, but you know what though, Stephen A. Smith just needs to shut up, man. Like, dude, you're over the top, bro. It's WWE like level here, okay? It's professional wrestling level. And look, this is coming from someone who grew up liking professional wrestling, but there's a time and place for it, okay? Calling a legitimate boxing fight is not a time to put your Hulk Hogan face on, right? And be like, well, what happened, brother? I can't believe what happened, brother. Like, it's not the time to do it, right? And Stephen A. Dude, like, you're over the top, bro. But Stephen A. Smith, just the shit he says, like, you're telling me that Jeff Horn won this fight? You're telling me with 50% landed that he won the fight? CompuBox says Pacquiao landed double the amount of punches. Like, I'm just like, what? Stephen A. Smith needs to settle the fuck down and explain to people, including myself, I want to know, sit down and explain to me, all right, why Manny Pacquiao dominated this fight the way you claim he dominated this fight. I want you to explain that to me. And not, I don't want to hear, okay, I'm tired. Like, these guys sit down and let me tell you someone who told me this point, and I want to give him credit for this point. I was talking to Joe Habib, and he made this point, okay? So I don't want to take away his point live on the air, so that's why. And he said, why is it that Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas and all these people, right, all over ESPN, social media, they're all questioning the judges, right? Ah, stupid judges. What the hell were they watching, right? But no one questions CompuBox. I've said this before. I think it's the first few letters of the word CompuBox. They think it's like a computer thing. Like if you hear like computer, oh, well, computers are accurate. It's not. CompuBox is a bunch of old farts with clickers in their hand. Okay? And you're expecting them in a fraction of seconds to tell you how many power punches, jabs were thrown and landed, and how many of them were body shots, and which ones were not really clean. Like, you really expect that? You have all these people, all these analysts questioning the judges, but no one ever stops and says, well, what about these CompuBox numbers? Like, wait a minute, what about these CompuBox numbers? These numbers are not correct. If you believe Jeff Horn only landed 15% of his punches, like, if you honestly believe that, you got issues, okay? Now, here's the other thing, and I've told this to people a million times, okay? What's the other thing the idiots are saying? Well, look at his face. What about the face? Stephen A., what about the face? So let me say myself and whoever's listening to this video, let's say we get in a fight. I land a big punch and I give you a black eye, right? But then you whoop my ass for the next 5 minutes. But you never gave me a black eye. I didn't bleed, right? I don't know how that's possible. But anyway, you know what I mean. And everybody know, oh yeah, he whooped your ass. But look at his face, though. He's got a black eye. Like, that's not the way you score a boxing fight. If that was true, then fuck it, get rid of judges. Then we don't need judges. We just need somebody to go like inspect their faces at the end of the fight and say, well, all right, winner. Like that's all you would need then. right? Then we don't need, then fuck clean, effective punches and generalship and defense and effective aggressiveness. Fuck all that, okay? Then just look at their faces at the end of the fucking fight and judge it based off that. You know how stupid that is? And for those, and look, it's not even like, it's just the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. I mean, you have freaking Letterman, right? He is on HBO, and many casual fans just take his word for face value. So this is where people get a lot of this stupid shit from. Okay, I'll never forget the third Pacquiao Marquez fight, which I believe Marquez won, but if you think Pacquiao won, that's fine. That was another close fight that could have gone either way. You notice how Marquez fans were not threatening to, kill Manny Pacquiao, and they weren't attacking Manny Pacquiao's wife, okay? When in my opinion, he got jobbed in that fucking decision. But with that point aside, right? with that aside, notice, right? Just Letterman, he would score these fights, and then Merchant, even though he's not the official scorer, would do the same thing. But Letterman he literally say it out of his mouth, right? In the middle of the fight, somewhere like towards the end, but in the middle. Well, I'll tell you, Jim. I'll tell you. I think when it comes to defense, I got to give it to Manny because, when I look at both of the faces, you got to give it to Manny. Marquez is bleeding. Marquez was cut by a punch rounds before that. Like, way before that. It was fucking irrelevant. It had nothing to do with the last round that they asked him about. Why did you give it to Pacquiao? It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter how many total punches are landed at the end of the fight. It doesn't matter. Every round is scored differently. When the first round is over, it's over. The damage you made in that round, the punches you landed, how you performed in that round. We started a whole nother round two. You don't get credit for the damage. This is the same shit I was telling Kovalev fans, right? When Kovalev knocked down Ward, they kept saying over and over, but he knocked him down though. Yeah, in one round. That was irrelevant in the later rounds. Well, back to this fight. Can Stephen A. Smith explain how many, other than citing CompuBox? The CompuBox is not like the numbers you get on an NFL game or an NBA game. And that's how they're presenting it to the public, right? It's nothing like that. In an NFL game, outside of a margin of error of a yard or two, when they say the Patriots had a total of 267 yards, 100 of them by rushing, that's pretty dead on, okay? Because they literally can track that. That's easy to track. When they say Tom Brady passed for 267 yards and 4 touchdowns, that is accurate information. That actually is valid. When they say LeBron James, a field goal percentage of 56% in this game, he did very good. That's actually accurate information. All right? CompuBox, at best, and this is when they have a good night, is a decent estimate. And that's at best. It is very easy. Like you always hear people, oh, the judge. What the fuck was the judge watching? Well, there's a human element to it. The guys doing CompuBox, they're no different. They're watching the fight too, and they're clicking on a fucking button. And we know that form of tracking is not very good. They tried to score Olympic boxing that way. And we had some atrocious decisions. Atrocious ones. They got rid of that system quick. Now, it wasn't necessarily like CompuBox, but it was the same idea. It was the same fucking concept. You're telling me that, like Stephen A. just keeps yelling off the top of his lungs that he doesn't see how it's possible that they could have given this to Jeff Horn. Like it's just, then Stephen A., then you need to be able to explain to us why Manny Pacquiao won that fight. And, not just one. I think Manny won by a point. It's not even like I'm arguing that he lost, right? But Horn winning is not like, it's not outrageous. It's not out of the question. It just isn't. Just yelling, just asking questions is not answering the question, right? Like yelling out the top of your lungs, like, I can't see how that's possible. Then you should be able to explain to us how it is that Manny Pacquiao, like, just calm the fuck down and explain it then. Go round by round, Stephen A., and explain it. You guys have a show, First Take. It's a controversial topic. People will listen. Explain. Go ahead. Explain it to us. And by the way, Shannon Sharp on Undisputed, I saw a clip of that. He's doing the same thing. He is citing the CompuBox numbers. When you cite something, man, you got to look at the source behind that, right? I can guarantee you right now that if someone says the Patriots ran for 107 yards in a game, okay, if I go back and watch that game, it might be off by a yard or two, but it's pretty spot on, okay? If someone says LeBron James, okay, had a 45% field goal percentage, I'm pretty sure that's spot on. CompuBox is not spot on. And for whatever reason, CompuBox never goes back and revises themselves, ever. Despite all the technology that we have today, they don't go back and revise their CompuBox numbers. CompuBox has gone back and done CompuBox for older fights when they didn't have CompuBox. They have time for that, but they don't have time to revise current CompuBox stats, right? They have no way to do it. And that is a complete disservice, because right now we have, like, as many people as possible need to know that CompuBox is not this, unbelievable computer that tracks shit, okay, and tracks punches and is 100% accurate. You guys do understand that they're giving you the numbers as the fight is happening, okay? Like, it's not like 3 rounds later, they're like, okay, we finally got the numbers for round 4. No. They're doing it real time, okay? You know how many fights I've seen where, like, they have the numbers on the screen and a dude, like, misses all these punches and then all of a sudden they add, like, 3 punches? And it's been almost proven that CompuBox is very biased against bodywork. That's been almost proven, right? And so that has to be said. So sorry, Stephen A., citing CompuBox. Let me tell you how you know they're full of shit, okay? If CompuBox was really that accurate, don't you think they would just get rid of judges? Don't you think they would just go by that? Well, fuck it, we'll just go by CompuBox. CompuBox is obviously not a very reliable source. That's why it doesn't decide fights, right? So it could be there. Sure, do I question the guy that scored at 117, 111? Yeah, I do. I question that. I do wish judges could explain themselves, okay? I wish they could be questioned by the press and all that. They're not. They don't get to ask them, hey, this round 7, this round 5, whatever, right? Well, why'd you score it for Horn, or whatever, or vice versa? Why'd you score for Pacquiao? And just, I don't get why that's not the case. But the same thing here. No one ever questions the CompuBox guys. And that's just, I don't believe people understand what CompuBox really is. I don't think Stephen A. Smith understands there is an assumption that the stats being given to you by CompuBox is equivalent to the stats you get like when you watch football, baseball, and all that, right? Like in baseball, you know how many runs they had, how many stolen bases, how many, outs and strikes and errors and all. Like, you know this. That's accurate information. Like, you'll never go back, watch it, and hear that there was 3 errors in the game and be like, oh my God, I saw 7 of them. It just doesn't happen. Because the elements of it are different. So this whole citing of CompuBox, shut the fuck up, man. Honestly, if you have to cite CompuBox, and that's your only argument for Manny Pacquiao winning this fight, then we have issues, all right? I mean, I saw Teddy Atlas live on the air say, Manny's landing left hands like that, and like that, and like he missed the second one, right? Also, let's say, like, it's not even about it being an old dude with a clicker, like, but let's say, like, they assign you with that job, right? To click a fucking button and make sure you can, power punches and jabs and whatever, right? What if, like, the guy throwing the punch is, like, the guy getting hit with a punch, right? His back is to you. And he throws like a jab to the body. How do you know if it landed or it didn't? How do you know? Now, how could he say, and you have literally a fraction of a second to make that decision, whether you click that button or not? So there's this whole idea of, no, we've got to do something about these judges, but nobody wants to do anything about the way we do CompuBox. It would be nice if 24 hours later we could get accurate CompuBox numbers. Okay? They could be revised. One of the reasons they don't revise it is because they don't want people to know how flawed it is. Okay? If they corrected themselves all the time, like, do you understand how stupid they would look? You would have, like, right now on ESPN, like I don't understand. I mean, it was 50% night of the fight, and now they're saying he landed over 22%. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. And I've always told people, even if CompuBox was accurate, you score it round by round anyway. All right? You score it round by round anyway. So there you go, right? I mean, it's the way these guys are talking, man. They're talking like every round was the 9th round. That's how they're talking. Now, you would think every single round was the 9th round. I mean, there you go. Right? And because of the way Teddy Atlas acted and Stephen A. Smith acted, look, I know that you probably did this deal with Top Rank. I know that you guys really looked forward to start pumping up this Pacquiao Mayweather thing, right? I know you were looking forward to that discussion on shows like First Take. I know that, but too fucking bad, right? Too fucking bad. Like, that's not our problem. You are being extremely selfish as a network, and you are throwing boxing as a sport under the bus because of your fucking ignorance, right? Because it's petty, because it didn't go your way. That's petty, right? Shannon Sharp on Undisputed doing the same shit. And then you have fucking Skip Bayless already giving up on Pacquiao. He's done. He's off that train too. And he's saying, oh, I think Horn won because, Manny Pacquiao's religious. He doesn't have a killer instinct no more. And Horn was always coming forward. Like these are the brilliant minds that cover boxing to the mainstream public. Okay, people take these people serious, right? So when Stephen A. Smith comes on and he says, "Oh, there's some bullshit going on," right? And then you have other ESPN commentators saying the same thing, and you have the so-called, and he is, but he acted a little weird, man. But the boxing experts saying the same thing, and Teddy Atlas. But you know what's funny? The fighters aren't really saying that. Like, isn't that funny? Like the dudes that actually do this for a living aren't like saying, "Oh my God, some shady shit happened." Like they're not saying that for the most part. So I think Stephen A. Smith should explain to us, because that's all he's doing. You're telling me that he won that fight? I don't know how you explain to me how he won that fight. I don't know how he won the fight. What was the judges watching? Oh my God! Like that's all he's doing. Anybody could do that. Explain to us how Manny Pacquiao dominated this fight. Explain it, Stephen A. Explain it. You have an hour, 2 hours, what is it? 5 days a week? You got 5 minutes to explain to us how you believe Manny Pacquiao won this fight. And you're telling me right now that ESPN is being very irresponsible, okay? It's one thing for boxing fans or even the fighters to be like, "Oh, I was screwed," and something fishy is going on with the judges. And, it's one thing to say that. But for ESPN to come on and be like, "Oh, something's going on in Australia." I don't know what it is over there in Australia, but they obviously don't know their boxing. And they basically insinuated that over there they don't know how to score boxing. Like they don't know anything about boxing, right? And they're also insinuating very strongly that something fishy is going on. Well, where's your investigative prowess then, ESPN, right? Why don't you go investigate it then? Why don't you go look into you guys are a network with a lot of money, right? I don't know, maybe you fired all your investigative reporters because of your last quarter didn't look so good, right? But it's for, they're sports, but they're a news organization. For them to be claiming something that strong, it's asinine, okay? You have to prove there's corruption going on. Disagreeing with the decision is not proof, okay? Now, that doesn't mean you can't look at the judge, like I said, okay, 117, 111. We got to ask the guy what the fuck he watched, and we got to make sure he doesn't score fights anymore, right? That's one thing. But they're basically claiming that, oh, how can they do Manny Pacquiao like that? Shannon Sharp on Fox Sports 1 said, and I quote, "You don't do that to an 8th division world champion. You just don't do that, Skip." What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? That because he's an 8th division world champion, he gets special treatment? That if it's a close fight, he wins no matter what? What does that mean? Like what? Treated how? He got cheered when he showed up. Like, what? What do you mean how he was treated? Freddie Rhodes said it was one of the best cities they've ever been in. What do you mean? What are you talking about? You didn't see Freddie Rhodes say anything like that. Isn't it strange that the trainer or the fighter is saying stupid shit like that? I really like Shannon Sharp, but he's wrong on this shit. I'm telling you right now. In a weird way, like Skip Bayless is wrong too. Like his whole MO is guy going forward. I mean, according to Skip Bayless, if you're moving forward, you win. I think Skip Bayless is confusing boxing to sumo wrestling. Okay, that's what I think, right? But anyway, man, Stephen A. Smith needs to sit down. Okay, he's way over the top. He doesn't explain, outside of just citing the combi box numbers, how Manny Pacquiao won that fight. Okay, he doesn't explain it. He just keeps yelling, "How is it? You're telling me Horn won that fight?" But he doesn't explain. He doesn't explain. He doesn't do any real commentary on it, right? And I'm actually glad to see that boxing minds out there like Al Bernstein and this other minds out there, like the guy that used to write for ESPN and now he's with CBS Sports. I forgot his name, Campbell, something like that. He had to fight a draw. You can't, like, I'm telling you right now, man, this was a close fight. And if that bothers you, whatever, but I just keep hearing people saying shit like, oh, if I mean, how could they do this to Manny? Manny Pacquiao is such a nice person, and they didn't do anything to him. They just didn't give him the nod. I mean, how stupid are you people? They're acting like they did something horrible to Manny. Like what? Nothing was done to him. He just didn't win a boxing fight. That's it. Right? So ESPN turned the whole thing into a circus. Teddy Atlas, who I'm a fan of, but I mean, he was horrible that night. Okay. Stephen A. Smith was just horrible. All right. And them acting outraged, like if Manny Pacquiao just got, mugged or some shit, is absolutely insane. And what followed from there, it's absolutely insane. And it turned what could have been a good night for boxing into a black eye for boxing. Okay. Because we have a network that is being selfish, right? Because Horn winning, they don't want to see Horn on. They want Manny Pacquiao on top, right? That's what they want. That Pacquiao versus Mayweather 2 would have brought in so much attention for them. Okay, that's all this was. And then they have the audacity to talk about what's wrong with boxing. Okay, no, motherfucker. What's wrong with boxing is motherfuckers like you that don't know what the fuck you're talking about commentating on it. Okay? How does this dude sit there and yell at freaking Timothy Bradley? As if he knows more about boxing than Timothy Bradley. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? Anyway, those are my thoughts. This is DStyleBoxing signing out.